Hey, these brothers, man, before I say anything, brothers and sisters, I gotta say thank y'all for getting your brother to 100,000 subscribers, man. Like when I say I really appreciate it, when I say, it means the world to me. When I say a million thanks, man, I'm telling you, I mean that down to the core. Thank y'all that have been rocking with me since day one. Thank y'all that rock with me on my old channel and this channel. So again, thank y'all to getting me to 100K, man. And it hit on one of the best days, man. It hit on my father's birthday, which was kind of special. So again, thank y'all, man. Today, brothers, I want to talk about the work. You know what I'm saying? And it really, this whole video really stems from two comments on a video I made. It might not have been the last video, but it might have been a video before that. It was a video where I said, stay single and stay locked in, right? One brother, brother Liberty Knight 16, thanks for your comment, brother. Thanks for your subscription. Brother Liberty Knight 16 said, "Hey, soul, doing hair and nails is not giving back to God. God don't give a damn about hair or nails, right?" So I'm assuming somewhere in that video I was talking about putting work in, right? And on the same video, brother TZR 95035 said, "Need advice on how to find purpose and passion." And I actually saw this video just a second ago on my way up here, man. So the video I'm talking about, what I want to talk about today, man, kind of surrounds those two things, right? I want to talk about the work because you got to understand this. All roads lead to the work. All roads lead to the work. Everything we talk about, whether it's fulfillment, whether it's how to get out the matrix, whether it's how to make your relationship balance out, right? Whether it's you understanding how to move in this phase of our existence, whether you understand what your purpose is, it all revolves around the work, man. All roads lead to work. Even our Bible says that faith without works is dead. And we've all heard that a million times. Let me drink some water, man, because my last video, man, my lips were chapped. Y'all did me wrong, bro. Y'all let me go out wrong. So I got to make sure I drink water, man, because it be hot out here. I be walking. But our Bible says faith without works is dead, right? So in other words, what that means is, if we want to go spiritual, God is saying, hey, I don't care about all this extra stuff. Like, yeah, y'all can sing all these beautiful songs and I love them. They sound good. Y'all can pay the 10%. Y'all can do all these things, man. All these ceremonial and ritualistic things, man. They're beautiful. You ain't got to get rid of them. But I'm looking for the workers. I'm looking for the doers. I know there's somewhere where it says, "Be ye doers of the word," and not just hearers or speakers or whatever it says, man. So it's all about finding your work, man, and putting that work in, bro. And I'm saying that, man, because we have to get to the work. We can come on here and talk about all we want to talk about, man. We can talk about all the spiritual stuff. We have to get down to the work. And the thing is this: a lot of us understand. A lot of us, especially if you've been here for a minute, a lot of us understand what work we're supposed to be doing. But for some reason, man, we still aren't really doing it. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of brothers I chop up with, a lot of brothers just in the comment section will say things like, "Yeah, man, appreciate that, soul. I gotta lock back in. I gotta get back on." And we all fall off paths sometimes. All of us do, man. But the thing is this, and this is the thing that's going to make you lock into that work, like we talked about, brothers. You have to be definite. And we can speak out with the devil. We can speak all kind of stuff. You have to be definite, which means that's the only option. That's the only option you have available, is to be about that life. You have to be definite, man. You know, kind of like Napoleon said, so you don't drift. Because if you aren't definite, bro, you bound to drift. It won't take but one movie to get your attention. It won't take but one baddie making a post to get you looking somewhere else. Next thing you know, you look up one day, 1 week, 1 month, and you like, how did I even get out here? How did I become lost in the sauce? So the thing is, man, you have to become definite when it comes to the work you're going to do. and you have to, and I don't even have to talk about having one truth, because it's really the same thing. Being definite and having one truth, like having no alternative ways of living. When you wake up every single day, man, there's one mission you got to accomplish. Yeah, there may be some many missions, of course, that have to be done just because life is lifing. But your ultimate goal, your ultimate goal of waking up, it has to be definite and it has to be locked on one thing, right? All right, so that's being definite. That's having a truth, right? So the thing is this, and it's kind of going back to the first brother's question, talking about, hey, this is not work, or whatever. We really have to understand what the work is. Like when we toss that word around, man, so-and-so, you got to do the work, you got to do the work. Of course, a lot of times people are talking about that inner work, which is getting on the path. But you got to understand, in this third dimensional plane, if we want to define what the work is, the work is simply proving or testing your knowledge or your faith. Is you proving it? Is you proving your knowledge and your faith? In other words, is God saying? In other words, is God saying this? And I'm saying it like that, right? Is God saying, okay, I see you, I hear all the beautiful things, but I want to know if you know that you're made in my image. I'm gonna say it again, man. What the work is proving our knowledge or testing our knowledge and our faith. Because we can have faith. We can sit there and read all the books. We can go to church every Sunday. We can do all these things. But how does God know you about that life? How does God know you about that life? Anybody can read books. Anybody can put a shiny suit on, man, and go and two-step in church. Anybody can do that. That's why God said, hey, man, you like faith is a beautiful thing. Like it's beautiful. But without the work, like it don't even exist. It can't even survive without the work. You know what I'm saying? So the work is simply testing your knowledge or your faith, man. It's actually God saying, I'm trying to see if you really about that life. In other words, I hear you, but show me. That's what the work is. Show me. It makes me think of this song, man. There's this song. This record been out a long time ago, but it's one of them timeless type pieces of music, man. I don't even know what genre it fits in. That song called it's by Gallimacious, and it's called "Show Me," and it sounds like it may be like some kind of romantic vibe, But if you listen to the words, brother, it's talking about the creation process. It's beautiful, man. It's saying exactly what I'm saying. It's a spiritual base behind it, and it's like reenacting the creator saying, show me what you want. Like, show me by moving in it, man. Check that song out, man. It's a classic, man. But it's all about showing God or showing the universe what you're about. Again, all roads lead to the work, man. And like I said last video or a video or two ago, man, like once I understood it took the work, right? And for me, it was, of course, it was reading a lot of different things. But I remember specifically when I read Think and Grow Rich. And there was a certain point in the book, and I said, you know what? I understand it now. I said, but the thing is, I understand it, but I don't have a vehicle. I don't have any vehicle to show God this, which leads to purpose. You know what I'm saying? When you have a certain knowledge and understanding and faith, but you still don't know how to get to that destination, you still don't know how to put the work in. It simply comes down to what brother TRZ said. I can't remember your name, brother. When he said, man, I'm trying to figure out this whole purpose thing. Right? So I want to talk about that for a minute, brothers. Now, when it comes to purpose, man, like we can get on here, man, and we can talk about a lot of stuff. How to find purpose and what you're passionate about and what you like and what you don't like and what your mom and daddy did and what your third grade teacher told you was good at back in the days. or what your hobbies were, and you can take that information, man, and build a character, man, and find purpose that way. You can do that. I believe that's the scenic route. Not only do I believe that's the scenic route, but I believe that's the route where we roll the dice, where we say, you know what, okay, I've spent 3 or 4 years going to college to study this thing. And now I'm doing this thing, but there's still no fulfillment. Like, I thought this, just because I was good at it, it was my purpose. But I'm just good, and like there's no fulfillment. I don't feel like like, in other words, I feel like I'm working for this company instead of working for God. I'm gonna say that again because I really need that to sink in. Because a lot of us think we aren't really living our purpose if we aren't working for ourselves. Not true. Not true. You can work your entire life and still be plugged into purpose. Because what it comes down to is it's not really what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's not even how you do it. You know what I'm saying? It really comes down to why you're doing it. I'm gonna say that again, man, because I used to love the quote, and I still love the quote from, I don't know what book that's from, where the brother was saying, whether it was Napoleon or whoever it was saying, or maybe it was Bob Proctor. Maybe it was Proctor back in the days that said, hey, it's not what you're doing, but it's how you're doing it, which is true. Which is very true. That's a whole nother video. But even deeper it's not the what you're doing and how you're doing it, it's the why you're doing it. It's the why you're doing it, man, which leads to purpose. Now, going back to what I was saying before I get ahead of myself. Like, you got to understand, of all the things that we've read in our Bible, man, by far, the most important segment of the Bible is probably one of the portions that slept on the most. Everybody probably heard it. I'm sure we heard the story in Vacation Bible School. I'm sure we heard it in church, and I can't remember where it is at the moment, but you'll remember when I say it, right? When I believe they were testing the messenger, Jesus, for y'all that hate when I say the messenger. I believe somebody was trying to challenge the messenger. I could be wrong. What they were trying to say, like, okay, if you are who you say you are, if you are who you say you are, what are the greatest commandments? What's the most important thing we should know on this planet? And I'm gonna tell you, if the entire Bible would have consisted of what he said next, that's all it would have had to consist of. If a man wanted knowledge and understanding of how to play this game, what the messenger said after that, man, would have been all the instructions he needed to know. Because what he said was life one-on-one. And what he said was this. He said, oh, the 2 greatest commandments? He said, too easy. He said, hold my beer. That's a joke. That's a joke. He said, the 2 greatest commandments are this. Love God with all your heart. Right? Cool. And 2, love your brother like you love yourself. These are the 2 greatest commandments. And I'm going to tell you this, man. When I read those or heard those for the first half of my life, I'm probably like, okay, like, cool. But, man, I would have thought you would have dropped more bars than that. You know what I'm saying? The 2 greatest commandments, and this is what you say. Like, this is almost rudimentary to what you're. But it's that simple, because you gotta look at the nuggets in those words, right? The guidance, the understanding, the keys to the kingdom hidden within those words, right? So love God and love no other God above it, or however it says, right? What that's saying is, I know a lot of y'all wanna have many gods. I know a lot of y'all want to have this God that is in heaven and this devil that lives in some other place. I know y'all want to play that game. But the God that I'm talking about is standing alone. Like this God stands alone and put nothing else in comparison or close to that thing. There is no devil equal to this God. There is none of that stuff. He said, love God like this. And you got to understand, when you understand And when you implement that into your life, it sparks something. It sparks oneness. It sparks oneness. See, one thing I don't like about a lot of factions slash I'll say even some religions is that it a lot of them separate themselves from another religion. Oh, these people pray like this. Oh, these people do X, Y, Z. And everybody can look across the board and see the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews and the. And it's like, okay, these are our factions. But you don't understand. You got to understand when Jesus gave that first gem, he was saying, once you find that oneness with God, you'll understand that you're one with everything. In other words, once you seek God and only God, you can take those old glasses off, right, and put these new glasses on and see the world like God sees it. In other words, you can take those glasses off and get the what is it called, LASIK. Oh, we finna give you LASIK. You finna see this world like you've never seen it before. Right? So that's one of the reasons is that I'm telling you, the messenger was giving you the keys. So the first thing is love God and love nobody like God, just so you can see this world how you're supposed to see it. First. The second one is love your brother like you love yourself. So if I'm looking at the world how God sees it, and now I'm looking at my brothers and sisters and I'm loving them how I love myself, don't you understand, man? That's the master key. That's the master key. Because now I'm looking at all my brothers and my sisters how God looks at them. I'm looking at all their problems. I'm looking at all their scenarios. I'm looking at all the issues they're dealing with. And I see it in a different light because I'm loving them how I love myself. I'm going to let that sink in, man. Because once you understand that, it's going to spark a whole new way of living for you. It's going to teach you something that a lot of people aren't teaching in these universities, man. It's going to teach you how to move with your brothers and sisters. It's going to teach you how to open up the matrix by assisting your brothers and sisters, man. So again, 2 greatest commandments. So again, so once you see your brothers and sisters through the lens of God, you see how they're living, you see them as you see yourself. The first thing you're going to want to do, man, and the thing that's going to be very hard for you not to do is solve their problems. It's solve their problems. And let me speak on that for a minute, because like you gotta understand this for a minute. Let me pause on this for a minute. And I'm no business guru, right? I have a business degree, but I'm no business guru. You don't see me out here giving business advice and this is how you make $1 million in 5. I don't talk all that, but I'm gonna tell you this. If you learn to love your brother like you love yourself, and you learn to see his problems and learn to solve his problems, brother, your life is going to do something that the far majority of people's lives won't do. You're going to open up so many different chambers in this world that you're going to be able to move how you want to move. So now I understand why those are the 2 greatest commandments, man. It's like, let me give you the keys to the kingdom before you play the game. Let me give you the instructions first, right? So once you understand that, once you see your brother's problems, I don't want to skip over that too much, man. Because when I say look at our brothers and sisters' problems, that's multifaceted. Because of course, we can just go into this world and look and say, hey, you know what? I'm sure at some point in time somebody said, hey, you know what? These cars are driving a certain way. Like, we need a traffic light. Like, if we had some kind of gadget up there that did this and made these people stop and these people go and X, Y, Z, like, that would be a great tool for my brothers and sisters. Boom, there's an invention. Change his complete life, right? If I knew how to get some light in this dark room, if I knew how to put a motor in this car instead of me pushing it with like a Flintstone. Or y'all get what I'm saying? If you can look at the world and say, you know what? If I knew how to implement this, it would solve this problem. You know what I'm saying? It would make mankind better. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm referring to you directly, brother. Brother, was it Knight? Brother Liberty Knight 16, my brother, and I'm saying this with love because you my brother, man. When you said, hey, so God don't give about doing hair, that ain't giving back to God. Doing hair, cutting hair, landscaping, all these jobs that we look at and say they're normal, if we're doing it for a certain reason, for, if it's part of that whole purpose process, you're working for God. You're working for God. See, I'm assuming a lot of people think that if you aren't TD Jakes, you know what I'm saying? If you aren't some televangelist or whatever, if you aren't on the street corners, if you aren't YouTube talking about, hey, this is how you become better, this is how you become closer to God. We assume that if you aren't doing that, then you aren't working for God. But if you're going through your purpose, if you're giving back to your brothers and sisters through love, by trying to service them because now you see them as God sees them, you're doing the work. You are doing the work. Again, whether you're doing hair, cutting trees, painting houses, whatever, any job, if you're doing it for a certain reason, you're giving back, man. Like think about what it would be like, man, to go to, think about what it would be like to go to some Michelin restaurant, man, some fancy restaurant, man, and they got the owner and they got some chef in the back, and it's just like big time, man, and you say, hey, you know what? Like that's why this company exists. Like they're the real workers of this company. But you got people out there sweeping floors. You got people out there greeting at the front door. You got people cutting the grass. You got people in the kitchen with the chef. You got people doing all kind of things, waiting tables. What would it seem like if you say, hey, now y'all aren't doing the work of this restaurant? God don't, like, the restaurant owner don't care about that. Nobody cares about that. Having no idea that it takes every single person in that building to make that establishment run. Everybody's there working, man. So who are we to say that, oh, well, since this brother ain't got a church or he ain't passing out Bibles, he's not working for God? Again, it's not how you do it. It's not what you're doing. It's not why you're doing it. It's or how you're doing it. It's why you're doing it. And if you're doing something because you're looking at your brothers and sisters and say, you know what? I love y'all, man. Like, y'all are me. I want to make your life better by doing X, Y, Z. You working for God, bro. So one thing is, like I said, one thing is looking out at your brothers and sisters and saying, okay, I can think of an invention like the traffic lights. It will make your life better. But to be on the easiest of spectrums, man, is all you got to do is look at your life. If you really want to give back to the kingdom, man, if you really want to put in the work, right? It's simply a matter of you saying, what have I gone through in life? What have I gone through where I needed help? I'm gonna tell you this. When I started my YouTube channel, my whole objective was to be exactly what I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of us that didn't have parents in the house. Like, my father passed away when I was young. So when I went through between 18 and 25 or whatever without a father, I said, man, that's a void. That's a void that a lot of us as men have. Man, now that I'm older, now that I'm 30 plus and I have some life lessons from back then, let me go back and give the world. Since I love my brothers like I love myself. I love my sisters like I love myself. Let me go back and give them what I know a lot of them need. And I go back and give advice and I give life experiences of how I messed up, of how I did wrong things, of how I made wrong decisions. Like I tell the brothers in the circle all the time, if one of us made a mistake, there's no sense of the rest of us making it. So when I share things with my brothers, whether it's good or bad, well, if I'm telling you, hey brothers, I had this relationship. This is what happened, man. This is what she did. This is what I did. This is what life presented to me. It's not for likes and giggles and just for you to just gossip or whatever. It's for you to say, Soul went through that, so I don't have to go through it. On the other side, when I say, hey, brothers, this is what I did, man. I saw something. I moved a certain way, and it was able to free me. It was able to take me out of the workforce at 44 years old, brothers. This is what I did. It's for y'all brothers to say, hey man, you know what? Let me take some nuggets from that if I can see them, and let me move with that. That's me giving back. That's me working directly for the creator. Working directly for the creator. And I could be doing that same thing if I was painting houses. If I was looking at my brothers in need and I was like, man, you know what, man? Like this is what I'm passionate about. I see a need that people have. This is how I want to give back. And this is why. It's the work, man. Because you got to understand this. And I love how, and I can't think of his name, the author of The Four Agreements said it. And I don't know exactly how he said it, but he said, we can do all these fancy things and crip walk on church pews and sing the highest of, but the work is the worship. In other words, the worship of God is the work you put in. So in other words, it's not about what you're doing on Sunday and Wednesday. It's not about what percent you're putting in the pews. It's not about how good you can sing. It's not about you spending 45 years on the usher board. It's about what takes place when you leave that establishment. Or are you giving back to mankind? Are you about your father's business is what it's about, man. So you gotta understand, like when we talk about purpose and when we talk about, like when I talk about the hierarchy, God, purpose, man, and everything else, you gotta understand that and again, like the last video, whenever I said the whole mission of life, the whole objective of life is, let me drink water from my mouth, get the foaming up again. It's hot out here. The whole objective of life is this. The whole objective of life is to find your way back home. It's to close the Trinity. It is to have been with God, came to this realm, brand new, got lost in the sauce, and find your way back home. And the way you travel the path, the way you travel back to God is through working your purpose. Again, hierarchy, God, purpose, you. So you're going towards God through your purpose. And you get your attraction by doing the work. In other words, like I said a second ago, God is saying, hey, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yes, a beautiful thing when you get on bended knee and recite these words. It's a beautiful thing when you do all this, man. But show me that you know who you are by conducting yourself a certain way, by doing the work. Because this is the thing. Because you can't. This is the thing, brothers. This is why it's such a beautiful thing. This is why it has a built-in check and balance in it. Oh, I just got to do the work to prove myself. Yeah, it's that easy. But you got to understand, you can't do the work unless you are that thing. You can't do the work unless you are that thing. So there is no cheat code to this. There is no, okay, let me just simulate the work, because that's going to last for 5 minutes. That's going to last for 5 minutes. You got to be about that thing, man. You have to have one singular truth where there's no other alternative ways of being. Definite. And you're about that life. Where when you wake up every morning, it's like, I don't know how not to be that. I don't know how not to put that work in. That's when God is saying, okay, you got it. And even at this point, I don't have to grant you blessings because the blessings are already there. In other words, God is saying, I set this thing up in a way where I can just watch y'all play the game, because there is no emails coming to me saying Joe Blow was a good boy. The world is already in place. So once you do the work, yeah, everything is being seen. But once you do the work, I put laws in place where when you do a certain thing, certain things are already bestowed upon you. So don't pray to me like, God, Father, please give me this blessing. You pray to God by doing the work. That's how you pray to God. You pray to God by doing the work. I've been saying it since day one, man. Like we always say, like a lot of us think that prayer is the first thing that you do when you want something. Prayer is the last thing you do. Once you've done all the inner work and you've built the avatar, oh, this is the I am I have to be in. Now let me go into that state, like the Bible says, and never come out of it. That's what prayer is, where all you know is the work. All you know is the work, man. And I want to say this, man. The reason it has to be set up a certain way, man. The reason, like for example, like you can do things because for example, let's say like this. You might say, okay, what is the work going to be? Like what work am I going to do? You can easily say that, and a lot of times we do say that, and there is nothing wrong with saying that if you're trying to figure this thing out, man. And what we'll do is we'll look around and look at the work that somebody else is doing, and we might not really be passionate about the work they're doing, but we may be passionate about the results they're getting. You know what I'm saying? We look around and say, oh, the thing I'm supposed to be doing is YouTube. Well, the thing I'm supposed to be doing is investing in stocks or stockbroker or insurance. Like I like the result they're getting, so I want to do that too. There's nothing wrong with that. But at some point in time, it's going to get old to you. At some point in time, it may be fruitful. The bag might be big, but there's not going to be any fulfillment in there because your why isn't being fulfilled. You aren't doing that. You aren't doing that by seeing the world through the lens of God and now seeing the needs of your brothers and sisters. So once you tie all that together, man, and you're looking, it's like it's a different something that comes over you where it's like it's not even work no more. It's like what I want to do every single day because this is what I love. And if you don't really have that love of God associated with what you're doing, you can easily burn out, man. You can easily burn out, man. And I say that to the people in exit strategies all the time. Like people want to get, start a certain thing. I said, man, is it what you want to give back? Because you got to understand, kind of like when I was thanking y'all a second ago. I said, man, thank y'all for the 100,000 subscribers. You got to understand, like this is my second rodeo, man. When I first started my first YouTube channel, man, you talking about I spent years on building a channel. 20,000, 30,000 subs, 40,000, 50,000 subs. Doing the work, putting the work in. That channel over there right now it's still over there at 90-something thousand subscribers. It got up to 98,000 subscribers, right? And somewhere along the way, YouTube came along and said, yeah, we don't like what you're doing. We don't think you need to be speaking on this. And then, of course, the tool was a lot different back then. They didn't have the age thing. So really, it was like really one big bowl. And looking back, I understand it. And YouTube, I don't understand the way they did it, but YouTube sent me an email one day and said, hey, you know what? Your channel is no longer what it was. No longer monetized, no longer nothing. Now I'm sitting over there at 98 something. I think it's like 94 something subscribers now, 1,000 subscribers now. And it's really just like a empty channel. Like a lot of things I can and can't even do over there anymore. So I had to take whatever. I had to take my vehicle, my ways of worshiping source energy, and start over from ground zero, bro. Do you know how hard that is? It's almost like building a house, man. You got everything in there. You got the whole house built. It's done. And the day you're bringing the furniture in, somebody says, hey, no, you can't live there. You gotta go one block over and build another house. Most people will say, man, you know what, man, I'm just gonna do something else. Or I'm just going back to my old life. But the thing I was doing, man, I loved it so much. I see the void, like when I see a young man and he's 18 years old, he's 33 years old, and he's like, man, my father wasn't there. Or a young man is saying, hey man, like I understand this whole spiritual game, but there's something else I need to know. I see that void. So whether somebody is paying me for it or not, I'm still doing it. So I took my essence, I took my purpose, and I started all over again. Boom, and built it brick by brick, day by day. And again, I'm thankful for y'all for supporting me, get me to that 100K. But that's why that's why it all has to go a certain way. So when you find yourself burning out, man, is ask yourself, did you go through the right system? Did you go through the right, set of instructions to get that, man? But again, man, all roads lead to the work, bro. All roads lead to the work, man. Your fulfillment, your joy, your way out of the matrix. And every other thing we talk about, man, it all comes down to you doing, you finding your purpose and you doing the work, right? Now I want to say this, because now I want to tie it back to what I said the other day. The video the other day was I said stay locked in and stay single until you find her, or something like that, right? It all ties together. It all ties together. Stay single or stay locked in until you find her. So take everything I said about the work. Now that you have your purpose, now that you know what work you're supposed to be doing, now you know what all tasks need to be associated with your daily life. That's why I always say, man, or try your hardest not to lock in and connect with the woman until your purpose is established. But like I always say, if a man finds a woman and gets married or gets in a serious relationship before finding his purpose, it can't work out right. It can't work out right if a woman is supposed to be your helpmate. For example, if I say, you know what, I want to build me a business. So I'm going to go out here, and before I even build this business, I'm going to go out here and hire me somebody to help me with it. Who am I going to hire? What skills, traits, and attributes is this person going to have if I don't even know what my business is? So the way God set this thing up, man, we're not supposed to be having wives and be getting serious with women without our purpose. We're not supposed to be doing it because yeah, you can do it, you can have fun, but it's always going to end up in a state of confusion. It's never going to end up like you think it is. 50% divorce rate. You can see it. Higher than that, people are miserable. It's not even meant to work like that, man. So before you lock in with the woman, and all of us have done it. Some of us have been married without our purpose. Some of us have been with women a long way, serious without our purpose. Like to be honest, don't even do a woman like that, man. Don't even do a woman like that. Like if you aren't locked in, don't even bring her on without something for her to fulfill. Because a lot of that's tied to her hypergamy also. You bring her on and she's like, okay, now she's twiddling her thumbs in life. Yeah, she got the Birkin bag. Yeah, she got the Range Rover. Yeah, she has all these things, but she's not fulfilled because she can't pour into you like God made her to. So don't even do your woman like that. But at the same time, once you're locked in, once you're waking up every single day and saying, okay, you know what? This is who I am. This is what needs to be done. This is my why. You can say, okay, you know what? If you get to the point where you say, okay, you know what? I need some kind of assistance. I need somebody, man, who can see this business like I see it, can see my shortcomings if I have any, can see all my voids, can see what I'm doing, and they can speak to me from it. They can help me. They can help me accomplish this. They can become one with me and do this thing, man. Second marriage of man. And only until it vibrates like that will it work like it's supposed to. If I'm lying, I'm dying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. God set this thing up perfectly, man. We can sit here and talk about relationships are jacked up. Women are doing this. Men are doing this. No, we all jacked up because we don't know the recipe. We didn't read the instructions. We aren't aligned. We're playing house, like I said in the last video. So again, all roads lead to work.